Welcome to our followers. I hope you are well. Today we will introduce you to a story entitled From Struggle to Success, The Unbreakable Spirit. Today we will present to you a funny story that we hope you will like, so stay with us. Title: The Hilarious Misadventures of Mr. Whiskers. Once upon a time in the small town of Pleasantville, there lived a peculiar man named Mr. Whiskers. He was known for his untamed, wild mustache that seemed to have a life of its own. As he walked down the cobbled streets, his mustache fluttered and swayed like a playful cat's tail, attracting both admiration and amusement from the townsfolk. One sunny morning, as Mr. Whiskers strolled through the town square, he noticed a small commotion near a hot dog vendor's cart. Curious, he made his way through the crowd to see what was happening. To his surprise, a mischievous squirrel had managed to sneak into the vendor's food supplies and was stuffing its cheeks with hot dog buns. The vendor, a stern but good-natured man named George, tried to shoo the squirrel away, but the crafty critter refused to budge. As the crowd chuckled at the sight, Mr. Whiskers stepped in with a gleam in his eye and a mischievous grin on his face. He approached the squirrel, who seemed unfazed by his presence, and with a swift movement of his mustache, he mimicked the squirrel's cheek-stuffing antics. To everyone's amazement, the squirrel stopped mid-chew and stared back at Mr. Whiskers as if challenging him to a hilarious stuffing competition. The crowd erupted in laughter as Mr. Whiskers and the squirrel engaged in this entertaining game of one-upmanship. It seemed like an endless battle of wits and cheek capacity, leaving everyone in stitches. Eventually, the squirrel, perhaps sensing defeat, decided to make a run for it, bounding off into a nearby tree. Mr. Whiskers, panting and clutching his sides from laughter, accepted a round of applause from the amused crowd. From that day on, Mr. Whiskers became known as the Squirrel Whisperer, a title he wore with pride. As weeks passed, Pleasantville's residents eagerly awaited Mr. Whiskers' next adventurous episode. They weren't disappointed. One day, as he wandered down the charming lanes, he stumbled upon a group of kids attempting to fly a kite. The kids seemed disheartened, as the kite refused to catch the wind and soar into the sky. Mr. Whiskers, always keen to help, offered his assistance. With a wink, he tied a string to his mustache and the other end to the kite, hoping to use his whimsical facial feature as a makeshift kite string. With a triumphant shout, the kids released the kite into the air. The kite indeed began to rise, but there was a problem. The mustache string was much stronger than expected, and the kite started pulling Mr. Whiskers along. Soon, he found himself soaring above the town, mustache first, like a flying superhero with a wild, flowing cape. The townspeople couldn't believe their eyes. Some thought it was an eccentric flying machine, and others believed it was a hilarious stunt. The spectacle drew even more attention as people ran out of their houses, pointing and laughing at the peculiar sight. Mr. Whiskers, determined to maintain his composure, waved and grinned at the onlookers as he glided over the town's rooftops. As he soared high above, the wind whistled through his mustache, creating an amusing tune that echoed through the streets. It was an unforgettable sight, and the kids on the ground were ecstatic with joy, cheering and clapping as their kite and Mr. Whiskers looped-a-looped through the sky. Eventually, Mr. Whiskers managed to regain control of his mustache kite and slowly descended back to the ground. The crowd erupted in a thunderous applause, and the kids thanked him for the most extraordinary kite-flying experience they'd ever had. As time went on, Mr. Whiskers became a local legend in Pleasantville, and visitors from nearby towns flocked to witness his whimsical antics. People spoke about his adventures with awe and delight, and the legend of the man with the wild mustache grew far and wide. The tales of Mr. Whiskers' funny situations continued, from his escapades with playful animals to his creative solutions to everyday problems. His name became synonymous with laughter and joy in Pleasantville. And so, my dear viewers, this is the story of Mr. Whiskers, the man with the untamed mustache and a heart full of humor. Remember, life is full of funny situations waiting to be explored, so cherish those moments of amusement and share a smile with those around you. For in the end, it's the laughter that makes life truly extraordinary. Until next time, stay curious, stay jolly, and never be afraid to let your own mustache, literal or metaphorical, lead you on hilarious adventures. The moral of the story of Mr. Whiskers is to embrace your uniqueness and find joy in life's funny moments. Mr. Whiskers stood out in his town with his wild and untamed mustache, but he didn't let the oddity of it deter him from living life to the fullest. Instead, he embraced his eccentricity, using his mustache as a tool to bring laughter and amusement to those around him. The story teaches us that we should celebrate our individuality, even if it sets us apart from others. Embracing our quirks and unique traits can lead to unexpected and delightful experiences, just like Mr. Whiskers' mustache antics did. Moreover, Mr. Whiskers showed us the importance of finding joy in the little things and making the most out of everyday situations. He turned ordinary encounters like chasing squirrels or flying a kite into extraordinary and hilarious adventures. This reminds us to approach life with a sense of humor and creativity, seeing potential laughter and amusement even in the simplest of tasks. Ultimately, the tale of Mr. Whiskers encourages us to spread joy, laughter, and happiness to those around us. By sharing our humor and lightheartedness, we can brighten people's days and create a positive and uplifting atmosphere in our communities. So, the moral is to be yourself. Find joy in funny situations and share laughter with others, for it is through embracing our uniqueness and celebrating humor that we truly make life more enjoyable and memorable for ourselves and those we touch. Thank you for watching the video until the end. If you liked the video and were a fan of stories and protection, give us a like and subscribe to the channel to receive all new things.